Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Chris from inkFrog. It is the end of April 2019, and this is our webinar for the month, which is going to be focusing on our store connector technology. It's a great piece that really complements what you can do with inkFrog. It lets you connect to Shopify, BigCommerce, or Amazon, and you can import all of your products from those places and then create eBay listings from them and keep everything in sync, so it really works well together. So what we're going to cover today, I'll do a very brief introduction about myself and the company, and then I'm going to jump right into it. I want to try and keep this webinar to about 20 to 25 minutes, but we'll see how things go. There's kind of 5 key things that we're going to be focusing on, and I'll walk through each of them. It's very easy, it's very user-friendly, so it shouldn't cause you any trouble. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, or need help, you can reach out to me personally as well as a member of our team. There are many ways to get help from inkFrog. There is the chat bubble inside inkFrog. If you click on that in the bottom right corner, it directs you to all the different ways you can get assistance. You can also email help@inkfrog.com, and you can also email myself directly at clittle@inkfrog.com. So inkFrog is an eBay listing platform. We were created almost 20 years ago. We're the oldest one on the market. The whole purpose behind inkFrog originally was to create a tool which made it easier to sell on eBay because the platform itself just isn't very user-friendly. If you've tried to list a product on eBay directly, you've probably jumped through about 6 or 7 pages of questions and errors, and it's just not a very user-friendly system, and it can be a little frustrating, especially if you have a lot of listings to put up. So inkFrog, we created a single page listing tool. Everything gets done on one page, and the goal is to make it easier so you can focus more on selling as opposed to how you sell and working with the constraints that eBay has. Over the years, we've added a lot of colorful features, great tools, marketing systems. There's a bunch of automation technology, which is part of what we're going to talk about today. There's marketing tools like our designer templates, which let you sell more on eBay by getting more product exposure, things like that. There's all kinds of cool stuff we can do. For me personally, my name is Chris. I'm the marketing manager for inkFrog. I oversee several areas. I've been with the company for, I think, about 2 years now. It was 2017 I joined them. So I oversee the product development side of things, so new features, enhancements, things like that. I work with the user experience teams to figure out, okay, where are customers in general having problems? How can we make things better? I work with the live chat and our customer care team to help provide support services to all of our users. I manage the designer platform, which is our eBay listing templates. It's very cool. And I also oversee the overall marketing and advertising of inkFrog. So I've kind of got my hands in everything, which is fun. It makes things interesting, and I get to do a lot of different things. My email address is shown on the screen right now. If you want to reach out to me, I can be reached directly at clittle@inkfrog.com. So I'm going to get right to it. There's a lot that I want to cover here, so we're going to just try and jump into things. So I'm going to say that I have a Shopify store. This is an example. It's one of many that we have. What I'm going to show you today will work for Shopify, BigCommerce, or Amazon. I'm just using Shopify as an example because I have a Shopify store readily available, so it's really easy for me to showcase here. If I had a BigCommerce store that I could tap into, I'm happy to do that, but I don't have one available when I was recording this video. So what we're going to do is, let's say I have my Shopify store and I have a couple of products in here that I want to list on eBay, but I don't want to have to manually copy everything over and double check everything and make sure it's all mapped properly. It's a bunch of work, especially if I have, say, 20,000 products. I probably don't have the patience to sit there doing everything one by one. So that's where inkFrog comes in. First thing you need to do is ensure that your store is connected to inkFrog. The way you do this is you click on Store Connector in the left menu, and then you're just going to click on the Add Store button. This is going to pop up a little window saying what kind of store do you want to connect. You click on the type of store that you have, and it will walk you through it. It takes about 2 minutes. It's very easy. It basically just asks you to authenticate that inkFrog is allowed to access your store and download information. There's no risk to it or anything. It's just we have to get the authorization, otherwise we can't touch your store. Once you've done that, your list of connected stores will appear in the left menu under the Store Connector headline. They will also appear in the Store Connector main page. What we're looking to do now is we want to import products from our Shopify store. So the way you do this is you click on the store in the left menu under Store Connector. So we're going to click on the inkFrog store. And this is our importer tool. There are 3 different sections to it. The first is the refresh and rebuild buttons. The second is the settings. And then the third is the actual importer itself. The refresh and rebuild buttons, what these do is they will tell inkFrog to connect to your store and look for new products and updated information. So if you've added, say, 500 products since the last time you ran the importer, you're going to want to refresh it, and that's when it will pick up the products that are not currently listed on eBay. If you don't do that, it's not going to say notice that you have new products, and this will basically say you have 0 products available to import. The settings I'm going to cover after we've done an import because they can be a little tricky, and I want to make sure I have enough time to go over them. So when you click the refresh or rebuild button, it takes about 10 seconds per product in your store, sometimes a little bit longer. So if you have a couple thousand products, it might take 10 or 15 minutes or maybe half an hour. So if you're planning to import a very large number of products, make sure you have some free time available. What I've seen people frequently do is they'll run the refresher and then they'll just leave the browser open and they'll work on other tasks on their computer or go for lunch or whatever. But if we're only importing 1 or 2 products, it only takes a few seconds. The importer will say how many products it has detected currently that you can import. This should total the number of products in your Shopify, BigCommerce, or Amazon store. If it doesn't, just click the refresh button and it'll resync it. So we have the option of importing everything. We can manually select which products we want to import, or we can select by category. Now, I'm just going to import 1 product just for demonstration purposes. So we're going to say manually select. And then we're going to say, okay, which product do we want to import out of the ones that detected? I'm going to import these awesome shoes. Once the product's selected, we just click done, and it gives us this list saying, are you sure you want to import this 1 product? And we say, yes, we do. Now, what will happen is after it has run the import, you're going to see this screen. And in this column on the left here where it says awesome sneakers, this is going to be completely filled with all of the products that you just imported. And probably a good half of them are going to have this little yield symbol on them saying, hey, there was a problem. Don't worry, it's usually something very minor. I would say approximately 90% of the time when there is an error on a listing import, it's because we couldn't automatically detect the category. Now, our tool did it this time, but if you do see anything other than a check mark here beside your product name, all you need to do is click on it. It will pull up the product information. And then in this box here right now, it's got a green with the check mark. It would say right here what the problem is. And it'll say, we couldn't find the category, or we don't know what item condition it is, or maybe we don't know how many units you have, or anything like this. Sometimes that requires some extra care. All you need to do is make the adjustments. All of the listing information appears below that section. And once you've fixed whatever it is that the error has been reported as, you're going to just scroll down to the bottom, click Save Settings, and that will update the importer tool. And then it should turn green in the list with a little check mark. If it doesn't, it means after you fix that error, it probably detected another one. You just scroll back up to the top of the listing and see what this box is. Usually it'll give you all the errors at once, but sometimes it might only give you 1 error, and then you have to save the changes and go back up and see what the next error is. Once you have the green check mark here, though, it means that we are ready to push this to eBay. You can do it right now if you want. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to say, you know what? We're going to import and list it. And then we have the option. We can say import and list to eBay. What this will do is it'll put the copy into your listing library in inkFrog, and then it will instantly push it to eBay as a brand new listing. Or you could say import only. If you do that, it means it will just put it into your inkFrog listing library, and it won't publish it to eBay. Some people want to do this because they want to take more time to look over the listings, or maybe they're just using inkFrog to keep a backup copy of all your Shopify or BigCommerce listings. There's many reasons to do this. Most commonly, it's if they want to make more changes to the listing before they publish it. But you know what? We're going to just publish this anyways. We're going to say import it and list it. We're going to do this right away. And you have to check the little, I know I'm going to be charged the eBay listing fees, the insertion fees, whatever it's called. So we're going to say, you know what? Let's launch it. So this will typically take about 10 seconds per product, sometimes faster, sometimes slower. It really depends on all kinds of factors, mostly on how many products you have. Okay, so once it's done, you'll get this little update saying, hey, we've imported stuff. You can toggle it not to display this. We leave it on our demo accounts so we can see what's going on. And there we go, the awesome sneakers. And right now they have been scheduled to list. That means we have sent the data to eBay. eBay is just lagging behind a little like they'd like to do. So if I go now to my live listings, there they are. The shoes are live. There's the eBay item number. We've got the variants, everything in it. If I click into the listing, there's all of our product data, just like if we created it in inkFrog ourselves. So we got the title, the description, the photos, the categories, the listing type, everything. We even imported the variations. So awesome. Now at the top here, what you're going to see are two kind of tables. These are how the product is linked. The first one is the eBay listing. So this will say this item is associated with an eBay listing. It's right here, and you can actually click on it to open it in a new tab. And here's the listing. Again, this is a demo listing, so bear in mind my terrible item descriptions. And if you have variants, it will have the variant information in here. The other link at the top here is saying this is associated with the product in your e-commerce store, which you have linked to inkFrog. You can even click on it, and it'll pull it up on your Shopify or BigCommerce store or whatever, saying this is what we've linked it to in your Shopify store. If you do not see both of these on your listing, it means something failed during the import process. It shouldn't happen if you do this the way I showed you. If this is not showing your Shopify or BigCommerce or Amazon link, then it means that any orders or anything will get basically end at inkFrog. They will not be pushed back to your store. So you want to make sure this is here. Yeah. We could even make changes to the listing here. If I make changes to the listing, however, by default, inkFrog tries to keep the item description, the title, the price, everything in sync with what is reported by Shopify. That's controlled through your Shopify store settings, which I will show you in a moment. So if I change, let's say, the item description to be 5 or 6 paragraphs of beautiful worded text that I wrote, and I put it in here, and then I say update it to eBay, it will publish it to eBay, and it'll update the live listing, and then about 10 minutes later, it will revert back to this. So we want to make sure that doesn't happen. If you are perfectly happy with the item descriptions you have written in your e-commerce store, then there's no reason to change this. But a lot of the times we find people that have an e-commerce store will have, say, maybe a paragraph of text for their item description, and maybe it just doesn't look great on eBay. So to avoid this syncing from happening, what you want to do is we go back to our store connector, and now we're going to go into our settings. This is a very important part of the store connector. So whenever you connect a new store, I strongly urge you to go in here. You're going to click on Settings, Sync Settings. This page controls the behavior of how inkFrog interacts with Shopify and eBay for all listings that are imported from your store. So, do we want to sync inventory levels? This is an important one because if your store runs out of inventory, it means that you're out of stock. You probably want inkFrog to update the eBay listing automatically so that you're not accidentally overselling. By default, almost all of these are turned on. Now you could say sync the inventory. We can also say sync the title. So by default, the title is synced from Shopify to inkFrog, or from BigCommerce to inkFrog, or from Amazon to inkFrog. If this is turned on and you change the listing title in inkFrog, it will be overwritten automatically 15 minutes later. So if you want to put custom titles and item descriptions on eBay that are different from your store, you want to make sure this is turned off. Same with the descriptions. Otherwise, it will force it to be in sync every 15 minutes. Now, if you're not sure what some of these settings are, you can just hover your mouse over the little question mark and it'll pop up a little box saying, hey, this is what it does. If it doesn't make any sense at that point, or you're not sure, you just simply have to reach out to our team. The easiest way to reach our team when you're looking right at this is click on the Need Help button in the left menu here. That'll take you to our help center, and you can explain what the problem is, and we'll help you from there. Now, that is pretty much the entire store connector explained in a nutshell. It's very straightforward. The only other thing I would want to tell you about is, let's say that we got an order on eBay from our listing. So if I go to the eBay listing, let's say that somebody's on eBay and they see my awesome sneakers listing and they say, I want to buy it. And they go through the checkout process on eBay and they buy it. Because this product is synced to inkFrog, and inkFrog is synced back to your Shopify store, as we can see right here, this item is associated with a Shopify item. What will actually happen is once inkFrog downloads the order data from eBay, it will appear in your sold listings folder, and inkFrog will also push it as a new order to your Shopify store. So that's a really cool feature. So you can actually see all of your eBay orders appearing in your Shopify store. They'll show up in here saying, here's the order, and it'll actually put a little tag on it saying this order came from eBay with inkFrog. So you can actually distinguish between them in your store and see what the differences are. And that way, you don't need to manage your orders in eBay. You don't need to manage them in inkFrog either. We push it all to your Shopify or your BigCommerce store. The other cool feature about this is that if you use inkFrog and you have an Amazon Seller Central account, we can actually connect with Fulfilled by Amazon. So if you are using the FBA program with your inventory at Amazon, when an order comes in from eBay, we can automatically send that order data to Amazon to fulfill, and they will ship it to the eBay customer. We will then grab the tracking information that Amazon provides and push it back to eBay so that eBay gets the tracking information to go to the customer. So that automates the entire fulfillment process just by having that connection in place. It's done automatically as long as your item is in the FBA facility. Okay, that is all I want to cover. It's a very straightforward system. It's a little bit overwhelming at first when you're first looking at it because the interface, it's a little clunky. People get confused by it sometimes. But really, it takes a few minutes to import your products unless you have a massive catalog. And even then, it's a few hours. You can leave it running overnight, even if you want, when you're doing the importer. But it works perfectly. And all you need to do is just fix any errors that it gives you. So that's that page where I said you might see like a little yield icon beside your products. You just make sure those are all fixed. And then you click the import and list button, and you are good to go. All right. I hope this has been informative. I hope you've had an awesome month, and I look forward to talking to you again in a month from now. Have a wonderful day.